Hello, hello, hello. Look at this. Oh, if you're watching at home, you're not missing anything. This has really been, it's been boring the whole time, but welcome to ChosenCon. Welcome to what is probably, other than the launch of our show, the biggest announcement that we've ever made. We are about to give you some new projects that we have been developing. We've got a lot to talk to you about. And the first thing I want to share with you is that if you do happen to be at home right now and you wish that you could be here, first of all, thank you. We know that not everyone could come, and so we're sad about that. But virtual tickets are still available, and you can watch. You can even catch up on what you've missed so far. And there's going to be some things going on tonight and tomorrow that you are not going to want to miss. We have a big surprise for you tomorrow night. We have a sneak peek of Season 5. We have another sneak peek of Season 5. So, yeah. So if you want to check out the virtual pass, you still can do that. It's ChosenCon.com, ChosenCon.com. Now, I've got a few announcements about 5 and 2 studios, which I'll share in just a moment. Now, but stay tuned for that. The project that I've been working on in between seasons 4 and 5 is a movie called The Best Christmas Pageant Ever. And so you are the first to get a chance to see. We're about to debut the brand new trailer. No one has seen this yet. And Lionsgate, the studio, said we're going to show it to ChosenCon first, show it to you watching at home first before it is released to the public. So we're going to show that in just a second. But I just want to share with you briefly our hearts for this project, because you might be wondering, what kind of project would cause you, in the middle of filming The Chosen, in between seasons, to do an entire movie? And so share real quick how you found this book 20 years ago. We're not going to tell the entire story. That's going to be tonight. We've got a screening of the movie tonight. And so we'll share a little bit more then. But that first moment when you were in a pottery barn, what happened?
Well, I was in a pottery barn, kids. I was one of those moms that didn't buy anything. I just went in and played, let my kids play in there. And then I would buy the $5 grabby things at the counter. That was my jam. They had this book, and I grew up reading this book. And so when I saw it, I was like, oh, I loved this, as a kid. And so we took it home, and then I informed Dallas that night that he was going to be reading it to our children. And so we would gather around, and we would start reading. Well, we couldn't, I don't know how far in, it wasn't very far in, before we were both crying. It's just the most beautiful book, the most beautiful telling of the story of the Nativity. And so then he would not be able to talk anymore because he was crying, so he would hand it to me, and I'd be like, okay, I got this. And then I would start reading, and I would start crying, and I would have to pass it back. And our kids were like, what is happening? Right. So we were in love with this book. We've read it to our kids now for years, and so then Dallas was like, I have to make this.
As soon as we were done reading it, because it's also very funny. It starts out very funny throughout the whole book. It's very charming, very whimsical, and the story is so beautiful too. And so we thought, man, this book has been read in public schools all over the country. It's been performed as a play all over the world, and because it's just so well told. And I said, I have to make this movie. And very, very long story short, because of The Chosen, even after I'd been chasing these rights for 20 years, praying that I would get a chance to do it, I finally got an opportunity to do it. And so the fact that I'm even announcing this to you is a huge dream come true for us. So let's show you the brand new trailer for The Best Christmas Pageant Ever. Here it is.
Okay, everyone. For as long as I can remember, our little town has loved Christmas. And nothing is more important than our annual Christmas pageant.
The pageant is sacred.
Special mention to Grace for volunteering to direct the pageant.
But this year, the Herdmans changed everything.
Now. The Herdmans are absolutely the worst kids in the history of the world. Hey!
Give it up, Charlie!
You ready for this? I'm gonna be in your Bible play. This is gonna be a real disaster.
That's the spirit. Would anyone like to volunteer for Mary and Joseph?
Who's Mary? Baby Jesus' mom?
Elmer, you usually like playing Joseph. Suppose that's that then.
The Herdmans shouldn't be here.
They're a poor influence.
It might be the first Christmas pageant in history where Joseph and the wise men get in a fight, and Mary hightails it with the baby.
$5 say they burned down the manger.
This year, we get to be someone else, live a different life, become someone new.
Why are they still here?
Jesus was born for the Herdmans as much as he was for us. We'll be missing the whole point now if we turn them away.
I'm not quite sure what's gonna happen. Maybe that's not a bad thing. Because Mary and Joseph weren't so sure either.
She's crying. Mary's crying.
It's going to be the best Christmas pageant ever.
Today we're going to ignore everything except blood.
Oh, what? Come on!
Now that's a pageant I'd actually like to see.
Fun, right? So as fun as it is, and hopefully a Christmas classic, not too deep beneath the surface is the story of the birth of Christ. And just like The Chosen, we remove some of the veneer that sometimes we put up about the cutesy little nativity scene, and we realize what the truth of the story is, and that sometimes seeing it through the eyes of those in poverty and those cast aside actually closer to the heart of the nativity and closer to who these people were than even we are. So trust me, you're going to get the same message here that you get in The Chosen, so I hope that you enjoy that. Really quickly, we've got Judy Greer in the movie, as you saw, Pete Holmes, and Lauren Graham from Gilmore Girls. She's in it. Blake Shelton, who is one of the judges on The Voice, legend, is a huge Chosen fan. We found that out, and so we reached out to him and said, hey, would you do an original song for the movie? And so he did Go Tell It on the Mountain for the closing of the movie just for us. Yeah. But I know you guys don't care about those people. You care more about the three people from The Chosen who are in this movie. I'm going to bring them out real quick. Kirk Wohler. Yeah. Liz Tabish. And Vanessa Benavente. Come on out. So just really quickly, just if you don't mind, just sharing what you thought when you read the script and what it was like doing something in modern clothes as opposed to first century clothes. Up in Canada where it was very, very cold. Liz.
Yeah, it was freezing, which was sort of par for the course.
Yeah, that's
for
true.
Working
Yeah.
with you. It was seriously. It was so much fun. It felt like an instant classic. Just reading the script and then being on set and all of the acting styles and editing styles, and it feels classic. I can't wait for you guys to see it.
Yeah.
Classically permed. Did everyone
Did you see that
classic
perm?
Perm?
That hairstyle on our Mary Magdalene? A little bit different.
It was a wig, and it was painful. Do it for you.
I suspect this is going to become a trend next year. No, it like they're saying. I mean, it really read like a classic. It was so emotional, even on the page, and I got to do a little bit of comedy also for a change. So I am really looking forward to see that.
And it was really fun. She's in the audience when they're performing the pageant, and to see Mother Mary singing "Round Yon Virgin, Mother and Child." And I'm like, you better know the words to this song. The whole world's watching. So Kirk Wohler has been in every single one of my projects since the beginning. And Gaius plays a pastor. He's Reverend Hopkins. So what was that like, Kirk, when you finally saw the script?
First of all, I love you both. Thank you very much. Aren't they amazing? Incredible. Most loyal people I know. Let's see. Well, it was wonderful because it was a complete departure from Gaius.
Yeah.
Gaius hardly ever smiles, and the Reverend got to smile. Yeah. But what was really interesting to me was being how I am on set. Normally, as Gaius, I kind of hide and just stay quiet and rather intense. But this one, I was the Reverend, so I made it a point to talk to everyone. So it felt like it was my congregation. So it was nice to come out of Gaius and into the Reverend.
Yeah, they're beautiful. So let's thank them, Kirk and Vanessa and Liz. You'll see them the rest of the weekend. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you. So just put this in your memory banks or put this in your calendar. It releases nationwide on Friday, November 8th. It'll be in theaters all over the country. And yeah, this is a big release of a mainstream Christmas classic that has a very, very strong Jesus message in it. And so make sure you show up. But 6 days earlier, November 2nd, put that in your calendar. There's an early access screening opportunity that's going to be in theaters all over the country on that Saturday, the 2nd, where you are going to get a chance to see, if you come, an exclusive scene from season 5 of The Chosen that will not be seen anywhere else. So early access, November 2nd. This scene will not be seen anywhere else until the season comes out. So if you want a glimpse of season 5 beyond even what you're going to see tomorrow night, think of November 2nd. So that's the best Christmas pageant ever. Thank you so much. Really means a lot that I got a chance to do this. I'm confident that you're going to love it. All right, so over the last several years, we have been, and you may have noticed this, but expanding our team. A lot of the reason has been to try to meet the needs of the chosen around the world. All over the world, countries are demanding more. They want to see the show in their own language. And we've realized that the best way for us to hold on to who we are and what the show is to do it ourselves. And so we've been building the team instead of relying on other people to do the show, to do the marketing for the show, to do the translations for the show. We've been partnering with Come and See, as you know, to finance the show and to get it translated into dozens of languages. But we've also been building our team with the long game in mind. And we finally started to realize every time one of you sees me in an airport or at a restaurant, I am no longer Dallas the father, Dallas the husband. I'm Dallas the one who might know what's coming next. That's all everyone seems to care about. Are you going to tell this story? Are you going to tell the story of this person? And so we have decided over the last several months that we were going to expand our efforts, and that The Chosen Inc., which was the name of our company for the first 7 years when Derral and I first started this, is now being rebranded, renamed, and I'll give you the reason why, but it is now what you see on my shirt, 5 and 2 Studios. Yeah. Right now, we've been working on our animated logo, and so it's still rough. It's still in the rough stage. It's going to be ready in about a week, but I wanted to give you a glimpse of it because I think you'll see the heart behind what this company is all about. So let's play that real quick. It starts with the words on the page, and that ink comes off the words of the page and becomes life. And that's what we're trying to communicate in that logo. And of course, 5 and 2 comes from the 5 and 2. And we want to be reminded constantly that no matter how many projects we do, as I said earlier, the numbers that matter are 5 and 2. We're still just bringing our loaves and fish. So the projects that I'm about to announce to you are still coming out of this desire to control what we can control, that is the 5 loaves and 2 fish. We're going to bring our loaves and fish, and God's going to do the multiplication. And that's where we're going to remain and be reminded of that every day. All right? So let's start with what comes next. What comes next are seasons 5 through 7, right? So, as you know, season 5 covers Holy Week. And I want to give you some good news. Yeah. Some good news and some bad news about the release of seasons 5 through 7. So I'm going to start with, just be patient. All right. So here's the bad news. The bad news is that moving forward, our releases will be delayed a bit. Now, not as long as they were this past time. We don't know the exact date that we're going to be releasing, but they will be pushed back from just the routine that we were on leading up to this year. And the reason is, and this is the good news, the reason is that it's become increasingly clear to us that when we release a season, we should be releasing it in multiple languages at the same time. Yeah. 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 There is someone in the front row going, "That's true," right? So this is now a global show. This is a show that is owned by and, in fact, translated by people all over the world. And so because of that, the translations take a little time. And so that just means that each of our seasons, once we get on this new routine, then it will be what we assume and what we believe is about a year in between each season. So we will get on a good cadence again. But season 5 will just be pushed back a little bit while we catch up on all the translations. The other piece of good news is that one of the reasons we're doing this is because on Easter of 2026, on Easter of 2027, on Easter of 2028, we want to have global theatrical events, right? Can you picture the literally tens of millions of people all over the world who, on Easter, when everyone's attention is focused on these stories all over the world, we are going to release in theaters the double episodes of the crucifixion, and the following Easter, the double episodes of the resurrection. Spoiler alert. So that's one of the reasons why we're doing that. So season 6, as you know, we'll bring that up real quick here. Season 6 is the story of the crucifixion. And this image here, of course, says quite a bit. And we're writing those scripts right now. Literally, I just received the first draft of episode 5. So we are already 5-6 episodes into our writing. I can tell you when I read the first script and then I showed you the first script of the season, you can barely even talk about it without crying, right?
Well, I'm not allowed to talk about it, so I would try if I could, but it's so cool. It's going to be so cool. Yeah, how's that?
Yeah, good.
All right.
Right. And then this image from season 7, I think, speaks for itself. Yeah. So after I announce the next project that I'm going to be doing myself, I'm going to let Amanda go. But before then, I wanted her up here for this because you need to hear this from us. So you might be wondering, before I announce all these projects, thinking, well, how is this actually going to be made? How is this funded? How are you going to remain who you are? And I just wanted to remind you and to reassure you, whether you're watching at home or here in this room, that whether our projects are funded by Come and See, whether they are funded by gift sales, or whether they are funded by a new streaming partner or a studio, regardless of who they are funded by, absolutely nothing changes. Absolutely nothing changes. Talk about back in 2018 when we first started realizing that we were going to get a chance to make this show. And God put you, because you were doing your morning Bible reading, and he kept putting you in which book?
Yeah, I mean, in Exodus, I think Exodus was where he really put me when we started the journey, when it was like, you're walking into the wilderness, you don't know where you're going, but you're going to follow us, or me. And so we were kind of on this track of really trusting the Lord with having no money and having no real plan and no real vision for how this was going to go. And then things started to go well, and we have this whole chosen army growing, and you start to see that there's this real safety net almost, and okay, you're a little more comfortable. But then God really pressed on me what happened to the Israelites when they actually made it to the promised land. And they fell away. Like, abundance can be dangerous because we wander when things are going well. And so he was pressing on me just to pay attention to how things go poorly when you're not looking to me for manna every day, or when you're not looking to me for direction. So he's just had us in this really intentional training, I think. And so as this is happening, and it's really cool, we're both like each other's.
You warned us of success, right? So be more vigilant when you have abundance. And so as these projects are growing and as people are coming to us and saying, we want to see more and we are willing to finance it and we are willing to expand what you are doing, I just want you to know that between the two of us, because the buck ultimately stops with us, that number one, our Bible consultants, the biblical consultants that you'll be seeing tomorrow as well, must approve of every single project that we do. It's literally in our contract. It's literally required for every project that we do. It's part of our company core bylaws, basically, which is that if there's a red flag, we can't step forward. And so that's going to be applied to every project that we do, regardless of who's involved with us. And then again, the creative control, the control of all of the content is 100% ours, ultimately mine. And so every new project that we do, whether I'm the one directing it or not, everything must pass that test of being faithful to God, faithful to the scriptures, honoring the character and intentions of the Gospels and of the entire Bible. And that will never change. And she will make sure it never changes, I promise you. So.
Buck stops with who?
Yeah. All right, so I'm going to start with what I'm doing next. So I've got seasons 5 through 7 as the showrunner, as the director and co-writer of the current Chosen show. And I'm not doing any other projects myself as the director, showrunner, whatever, until after I'm done with season 7. So what is the first project that I am going to do with 5 and 2 Studios after the Chosen season 7? Well, we've talked about the Manna program. We've talked about Red Sea moments. Throughout the first 5 seasons of the show, you've heard his name mentioned many times. And so this is why I do want to tell this story, the Chosen Book of Moses. That is not the correct image for the Chosen. There you go. So let's have the camera be on this screen because for some reason two images are interfering with each other. I promise you there's no airplanes in the Moses story. So Moses is an underqualified, forced to be surrendered man who is called by God to do things that he didn't ever see coming and that he wasn't qualified for. And so we have always identified with Moses from that regard. And as the Chosen has grown, the more and more that we experience life, we go, man, we've got to tell the Moses story. And so we're going to be doing 3 seasons of, that's going to be a 3-season show. It's going to cover 3 of the most consequential moments of the Moses story and the journey, of course, out of Egypt. And yeah, this is a big show. Yeah. Because if God is constantly teaching us about Red Sea moments, then I think it's time to portray the Red Sea moment. And so all of some of the most iconic moments in all of Scripture and in all of history, things that people around the world who aren't even believers know about. The golden calf, the 10 plagues, the milk and honey, the Red Sea, what else? What am I leaving out? All these, the frogs, the blood, the
things, the cool things.
Yeah, lots of cool things.
Things.
Yes, but I'm hearing them now because we got a bunch of Bible students in this room. But The cool thing about the Moses story is that it is also not only a story that people all over the world know and appreciate and love, regardless of whether they are followers of Jesus. Moses is the forebearer to Jesus. Moses turned the water to blood, Jesus turned the water to wine. Moses split the Red Sea, Jesus walked on the water. Moses put up the serpent on the pole and people looked at it to be healed from their bites. Jesus gets up on the pole so that people look at him and be healed from their diseases. So I'm going to tell you then what I want to do after that. So 3 seasons of Moses. We want to go back in time a little bit, but we can't stay back there, right? We do need to show what comes next after this story. All right, here we go. Let's show it. The book of Acts. Is that a surprise? In the book of Acts, they refer to the way. In fact, if you watch The Messengers, that was one of their code words, was the way. That's what this movement was referred to as, was the way. And so we believe a great title for these stories of Acts, the stories of the apostles, the stories of the birth of the early church. And there might have been another guy who came along in this story who might deserve his own show. And so The Way of the Chosen is the project that we are doing after the book of Moses. And yeah, we're going to bring the birth of the early church. And so I know you want to see some of these guys who were up on stage. I know you want to see them again. So I wanted Amanda up here to talk about what we're doing next, but you can now go because we're going to bring out some other people. This is Amanda. Thank you. But I am not alone. I am not the only one who can be an underqualified, flawed person telling a story from the Bible. And so we have been working actually with a really brilliant writer. I'm going to make more announcements about that down the road. We're not going to give all the details just yet. But we've been working with scripts right now, the pilot episode of a limited series. So this would be 1 season, and our intention is actually to release this before season 7 of The Chosen. So you're going to get some Bible content before we're done with the Mothership show. Now, as I said, of course, Ryan Swanson and Tyler Thompson, my co-writers, the 3 of us are the brain trust. We are the ultimate backstop and final authority on the projects. But I want to show you, and I'm just going to see if you can guess this from the image, the next limited series that we want to do before the end of The Chosen. Let's show that right now. So I didn't know that they put the name of it on there. I was hoping you'd get it from the coat of many colors. But again, the beauty of the Joseph story and the reason that we want to tell it is that in many ways, when you look at the stories of Jacob, Joseph's father, and you look at the stories of Joseph and his brothers, this was before the law. This was before Moses. This was human beings trying to figure out how to live, how to deal with some of their basest impulses, how to deal with their humanity with no guideline. And so, in many ways, these stories are the reason that Moses was given the law. And Moses' stories are the reason that Jesus came. And so we want that through line through all of these projects, that even when they're Old Testament projects, they're really ultimately Jesus projects. And so Joseph felt like a natural one for a limited series, 8 episodes. Of course, we're going to cover some of the backstory of Jacob and Rachel and Leah, and we're going to get into the birth of the 12 brothers, who were, of course, the forebears of the 12 tribes of Israel. And so I know so many of you know that story, and I can't wait to show you the next steps in that. So pray for us right now, because as we speak, some of those scripts are being worked on. Okay, so, yeah. Guess what? I'm not done. And I'm working my way backwards. I'm working my way closer to today. So Joseph is coming out before season 7, but I've got 2 more projects to tell you about, both of which are being produced as we speak. Yeah, we've been doing this under your nose, okay? Now, the first one is an unscripted project. So this is a reality show that I want to tell you about. So I'm going to show you kind of a highlight reel of the man that we are working with on this show in just a moment. But I want to tell you about Bear Grylls, okay? You may have heard of Man vs. Wild. You may have heard of Running Wild. Bear Grylls is an ex-military adventurer who has been all over the world. He's one of the most famous and recognizable people on the planet. He has taken people like President Obama and Julia Roberts and huge, huge people all over the world and put them into challenging situations that stretch their comfort zone, which is, of course, what The Chosen is trying to do. And he has also sold over 20 million books, and he loves Jesus, and he loves The Chosen. And so I'm just going to show you this quick highlight reel of just get a glimpse of the kind of person that Bear is. So just watch this real quick.
He was a humble, poor builder and
There's the
carpenter.
airplane.
A man called Jesus of Nazareth.
Here was a full jump away and
Okay, we're ready to go. I've been told that the best experiences in life, first of all, require a leap of faith. Okay, let's do this!
I'm a survivor. I'm not gonna give up. I'm not gonna stop her. I'm gonna work harder. I'm a survivor. I'm not gonna give up. I'm not gonna stop. I'm gonna work harder. I'm a survivor. I'm gonna make it. I will survive. Keep on surviving. I'm a survivor. I'm not gonna give up. I'm not gonna stop. I'm gonna work harder. I'm a survivor. I'm gonna make it. I will survive. Keep on surviving.
So let's give a really warm Chosen welcome to Bear Grylls. He's here tonight. I'm struggling between jealousy and a man crush at the same time, so forgive me. Bear, thank you for being here. What is the name of the show that we are doing together?
The name of the show, first of all, before we say that, I just want to say thank you so much to all of you. Everyone I've met has been so warm, so lovely. I don't think I've ever been in a gathering of people where there's been so much love. So thank you. I've really felt it, and it's special to be here. But the name of the show is Chosen in the Wild. And the goal is really to give you guys a beautiful insight into some of the many casts that you love so much for the characters they play, but to allow you to get to know the real people behind that. We take them on some running wild type adventures into the outdoors. They definitely go through it. We've done 4 already. We've got 2 more to do. Dallas is one of them.
And that's where the comedy comes in, because I am a rugged indoorsman, okay? And if you want to see my family laugh, just remind them that I'm going to be going out in the wild with Bear Grylls. Because, and so, all joking aside though, one of the things and one of the reasons why we did this is because your show and what you've done in the past, what you've written about, what we want to do here is it puts people outside of their comfort zone. And that's what The Chosen has been about. That's what I just mentioned. And so we want to get out of our comfort zone, and that's where vulnerability takes place. That's where intimacy takes place. And so share a little bit about your heart, because when we saw the highlight reel, I saw a lot of jumping, a lot of leaping and flying, all things that I have never done. And they look impressive, but that's not all that you're about. So just share a little bit of your heart for why you do what you do.
I think the only thing I was ever any good at in my life when I was a little kid was jumping off stuff and climbing up stuff, always getting muddy. I don't know, I feel it's the only job I could ever do. I'm so grateful to the Almighty to have a job that I love. It's never felt like a job. It led me through to the highest mountain in the world, to Everest, eventually through the military, through the British Special Forces, and then eventually on to Man vs. Wild and the Running Wild type shows where we take these superstars away. And I always feel the real star of it all, to be honest, is the wild. The wild does my job for me. It opens people up. Like you say, there's a vulnerability and a connection with people when you adventure with them, for a day or so, that you're never going to get on a stage or on a red carpet or on a chat show where it's a performance. And I think the wild's different. You face a few fears together. You come through difficult times. You talk about the struggles. I want to talk to you about how what was it like at the beginning? Did you ever think this sort of thing would be happening? How's your family been on that journey? All the stuff that all of us really want to know with the characters and the stars that we know and love. And the ones we've done already have been beautiful. You're going to love these episodes and the insights to these beautiful human beings who are part of the cast. Yeah. Everyone can't wait for your one and Jonathan's. We're going to have fun.
So literally just in the last couple of weeks, we grabbed about a minute of cell phone footage. So I want to show you just a quick highlight reel, and then we're going to bring out the people who are going to be doing this show, and you're going to hear from them as well. But let's show this quick highlight reel. This is just done on an iPhone, so this is not the show itself. This is just a little bit of behind-the-scenes glimpse of what they've been going through. Let's check this out.
Okay, so in the desert, getting ready for the next Chosen in the Wild. You ready?
Very, very excited. It's going to be exciting.
Come.
So again, if that's all it was, if it's just putting them in a helicopter, then there really wouldn't be much reason to do it with The Chosen. You could do it with anybody. Before we bring out the cast, what is the reason that you felt compelled to reach out to us? We were able to connect and really collaborate on this. what is the reason that you felt like The Chosen is actually the right partner for something like this, and these actors and myself are the right people to bring out into the wild as opposed to some of the other people you've brought out?
Yeah, I think first of all, we've never done anything like this before. We make Running Wild for NBC and for Disney Plus, and we've never stepped out of that. And to do a bespoke thing with you guys and The Chosen, I knew in here and in every fiber of my being, I knew it was the right thing to be doing. And we reached out. I think what you have done and the team have done and you have all been part of is create a worldwide phenomenon for good, not just for entertainment, not just for... You know, it's not about money for you guys. It's about bringing light, love, connection, friendships, everything that we've experienced in our life, but bringing it to millions and millions and millions of people around the world. And to be a small part of that, to stand alongside you, and also to hear some of their stories that are really remarkable. And I love the fact that, you know, you brought actors from every country, every culture, every faith. You brought them together, you've built a family, the friendships, the love that they have for each other away from screen is palpable. And when I say at the start, it's a family, I love that. That's what draws me. And I feel I'm a very, very small cog in your beautiful machine, but proud to be here.
Yeah, of course, of course. All right, so Paris Patel, Luke Dimian, Liz Tabish, and Noah James. Come on out. Yeah, Luke is...
It got to Luke's head.
Yeah. Luke's already too cool for us.
I survived the wild.
Yeah.
I'm a changed man. Eat
So-
your heart out, Tom Cruise.
I see. Yeah. Welcome to Working with Luke, everybody. Thank you. All right, so Paris, we'll start with you. First of all, why? Why did you agree to do this? Because I'm still asking myself that question. And also, you've done it, right? Yeah. So talk about what you learned, what happened. Give us a little sneak peek.
I did it and I survived because I'm here. I'm glad. You know, I think after 5 years of The Chosen, some things were just coming up for me, and I felt like this aligned with me right at a time in my life where I kind of needed that. And you know, doing this adventure with Bear was everything I hoped for and more. And we had amazing conversations. He put me in some challenges that you will all enjoy. But from it, I grew from it, I learned from it, and I would do it again.
Liz, hit us with it.
I was so resistant to doing this. I kept telling everyone, like, I don't want to do it. I'm the wrong person for doing it. Find someone else. And finally talking with Bear's safety team and, like, realizing how safe they are and, like, I'm in such good, capable hands, kind of kick-started this sense of, like, trusting and in faith and trusting others, which is kind of a hard thing to do sometimes, especially when you're, like, on this enormous cliff and you're about to go to another side of that cliff, and there's a big canyon underneath, and I just have to thank you so much for allowing us to test ourselves and to trust these kind of crazy situations, and I found a lot of peace in it, strangely, and yeah, I would do it again too. Yeah.
When I heard that this was even a remote possibility, I was like, yes, dude, yes! Please! Please! Please, not even me! Please! But then when I finally could breathe again, no, actually what is so fascinating about it is that it is really confronting. Like, that is no joke. when you are on the side of a cliff and you can't quite see the bottom, like I kind of thought I was just gonna jump in there and be like, yes, action hero time. But I legitimately felt a panic inside, and I felt like it was a nice little slice of humble pie, being like, this is very real. And I think that what people may not give the show credit for before watching it, because obviously it's about the adventure and the wilderness stuff, is that Bear is such an amazing guide, not only helping us with all the crazy stuff, but then when we have the moments to just sit and really talk heart to heart, it's so real, and you have such an amazing, welcoming presence. And so it felt like we really could talk about stuff that, honestly, throughout the whole time with The Chosen, I haven't even dove into some of those questions doing press or anything. So I do want to really thank you for that. It was a journey. Yeah. I would do it again. For sure.
10 out of 10.
Okay, I haven't even said anything yet. Come on. Okay, just bear with me. When the movie Inside Out came out, me and my dad walked out of it, and we asked each other, what do you think your main emotion would be? You know, like the head emotion. And we both agreed, duly, it was fear. I get it from him. We're both very cautious, fearful people. I am very driven by my fear of everything. Like, it is a very intense part of me, but also something that me and my dad would talk a lot about was facing those fears and conquering them, because usually they would conquer me throughout my entire life. A fear of failure, a fear of putting myself out there, just generally being afraid of doing things wrong. And so when I was reached out to do this with the Bear Grylls, I don't think you understand. I grew up hearing legends about this guy. Like, just the stories. It's like, did you see the recent episode? Did you see what he did? The man's insane. He's a god. What is he doing? And it's like, all I knew was of him, this pinnacle of like human survivalist, and then, hey, you want to meet him and do a thing with him. I called up my roommate, Nico, and I was terrified. I was like, look, I know I have to do this. Just tell me to do it. And bless his soul, he said, look, if you do not do this, you're going to do all of the stuff that you missed out on, but with me. So I went with the obvious choice. And I'm so thankful that I did, because I could not have been in better hands. Truly a master of the surviving arts and an absolute legend. I faced my fears, and I can't wait for you guys to see what we did.
So I was reminded we're going to do a quick photo. So they just said cast photo op. So are we ready for that? 2? Okay.
Oh, with all of you?
So we're going to do one with all of you, and then one the other way. You're going to be taking one from there too, right? So we'll start with this one. All right? You're all in this.
Don't peek. What about the microphone? Okay. Oh, yeah.
You can grab one. Yep. Ladies and gentlemen, the cast of Chosen in the Wild and the legend himself, our brother in Christ, Bear Grylls. Thank you. Yeah. All right. One more. This is scripted. This is a project that we have been working on right under your nose for about 1.5 years, 2 years, been developing it for many years. So I'm not going to talk about it just yet. No, I'm going to show you something, okay? Yeah. So this video speaks for itself. It's a few minutes, and then after that, we're going to tell you all about it. Check this out. That's the wrong clip, sorry.
Almost every person that I meet will say some form of, what's next, or what else are you guys doing? You got anything else for us?
We found out that our episode 3 of season 1 was getting traction with kids all over the world.
Blessed are you, Lord our God.
So when we were first devising season 1, and I remember specifically saying, I'd love to do an episode. We're really spending time with Jesus and we're seeing him through the eyes of children.
My Father provides everything I need.
Is your father rich?
We did have this thought of, boy, it would be interesting to kind of dive deeper. Like what happens to those kids after they've met Jesus?
You remember when I said that I have a job that is bigger than my trade?
I actually presented an idea to Dallas. I'm like, hey, what about doing an animated series of The Chosen? And he's like, oh, are you kidding me? Like, we're just barely getting started.
I am so excited to finally be able to say to you that we have a new project.
The Chosen Adventures.
And I pray that if there are ever 2 children who visit my home here, you will give them the courage to say shalom.
So The Chosen Adventures will be a look at the world of Jesus' ministry through the eyes of 2 9-year-olds who encounter him in their play space one day.
So, what's your name?
My name is Jesus.
I mean, how often do you just get to watch Jesus interacting with kids just for the sake of it?
My family isn't wealthy.
Many times, that's better.
The Chosen live action series is its DNA and how we're telling that story. But again, this is going right back to the Bible. The most hope-giving, faith-offering, true word ever written.
And so yes, there's a whimsy and there's a humor in this animated series.
Could you tell me why God made wasps?
You also are going to experience what the culture was like. We want to put you there. We want you to see that as well. And yes, through the eyes of a child. Why? Because Jesus loved childlike faith, childlike perspective.
I've seen the concept art, and I love that there's a style to it.
A Capernaum like you've never seen it.
The artists have done an incredible job.
I haven't really seen this style anywhere else.
And the art that I've seen is just unbelievable.
Obviously, kids will, I think, love this show, but it's also one that parents can watch during and be entertained as well.
I'm gonna get my answer. Whoa!
In The Chosen Adventures, you're going to see a lot of our live-action cast. They're going to be in a slightly secondary role, but they will be there enough to let you know where in Capernaum you are.
And there are a bunch of other cameos, too, that y'all will recognize.
Thomas, we have to do something.
Jesus comes in as like the teacher character, like the wisdom of the series.
But your parents' life experience is also strong. They want to keep you safe.
I am animated. It is very interesting to know that my face is going to be this cartoon. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's kind of cool.
Really are monsters?
Our main characters, Abby and Joshua, come right from our live-action show, but they're met with a cast of characters that I've overseen a creative team in developing.
Oh, I get it now. Pigeon. I forgive you.
Trust me, if I could do hair, I wouldn't choose to work with catfish for a living.
Ah, just in time. I was just about to close for the night.
Humans. They're so good at justifying bad behavior. Girl, who you fooling? Not me.
It is so charming and it is so sweet. And it's like this beautiful combination of really touching and also really, really funny.
I can't grab it from here. Leave it. Daba has said I can't take the boat out.
That's right. Let's go back.
But nothing about just standing in it.
One of the things that I think makes this project extra special is that yours truly is in it.
Officer Sirius Maximus. Good to see you're making yourself at home in Capernaum.
One of the things that I'm excited about with the animated project is that Ryan Swanson, who has from the beginning been part of the Chosen Brain Trust, the Creative Brain Trust, he's show running and executive producing. I know that I can trust that by the time scripts get to me, that I'm able to provide my supervision and be a voice into it, but Ryan and the team that we're assembling has been able to be a line of defense for protecting the truth of and character and intentions of Jesus and the Gospels and the entire Bible as we tell these stories.
And I trust in you, and I promise I'll tell
We
them.
hope kids are the ones pressing play on this show.
I think what we're doing is important because we're creating more content for them to focus on and enjoy, and giving them a love for scripture at a young age. Those seeds sprout and grow into their teenage years and on.
Hey, pretty crazy that my boat landed right where you were walking.
What are the chances, huh?
So what this show offers me the opportunity to do is to give you a break and to say, have an enjoyable walk with Jesus.
That's what the animated series can do, is now kids can see Jesus through the eyes of kids.
I came to teach.
Isn't that cool? Derral Eves, as of course my partner from the beginning on this, and I remember when he first saw The Shepherd, which was the short film that I had done for my church's Christmas Eve service, when I first had the idea for the show, and he was presented with that short film, and 10 minutes into it, he said, I'm in, I'll do anything. Even if it just means holding a light, I'm willing to do it. And that's what he's been doing this entire time for years and years with this show, is he has been holding and revealing the light. He has been expanding our audience. His job and his primary passion is to build our audience and grow it with some of the things that he's learned throughout his life. But from the beginning, he was saying, the way to expand this audience beyond just the Chosen Mothership show is we've got to get the next generation. And so this has been one of his passion projects from day one.
Yeah. When Dallas presented what The Chosen is going to be, and I started to read scripts, I'm like, oh, this generation needs this. This rising generation needs it. My kids need it. You know, and for me, the pages, I'm like, only if we could pull this off. Only, you know, because you see the written word, and we're like, can we actually pull this off? And one of the moments that just time stops, have you ever had that, where just time just stops? Was a moment, it was the first day of shooting The Chosen. And it was a beautiful moment. And it was one of those things that was like, we're here, look what God has done. Like, it was just an idea, and all of you have contributed in so many different ways. And some of you, like, early on did it. And it was like sharing into a project you didn't even know how it was gonna pull off. And for me, I remember going on the set for the first time, and Dallas did something crazy, which he does for some reason every time he shoots The Chosen. He started with the most difficult thing first, which is kids. But it was a beautiful moment, and I wanted to capture this, and so I took a little photo of us, and this actually means a lot to me, and I want to tell you why. God is so great. God is so good. And everything that I saw on page, and I'm like, I was just dreaming and wishing and praying that would come to pass, I was seeing something I've never seen before, which is Jesus interacting authentically with kids. And I'm like, man, this generation needs Jesus. He needs what Jesus taught over 2,000 years ago. And for me, it's been on my heart, like literally for our kids and future grandkids. And, you know, it's just, the world needs it right now.
Right. Yeah. So that's the why. We want to tell you a little bit of the how and the what. And so we're going to bring out our showrunner for this show and one of our executive producers, the guy who's been with me from the beginning on this as a writing and creative partner. Please give a warm chosen welcome to Ryan Swanson.
Ryan Swanson!
Hey, everybody.
So Ryan was my wife Amanda's Sadie Hawkins date back in high school. So it's taken me a bit to get over that. But once I did, Ryan and Amanda were reunited as friends about, 10 years ago on Facebook, and then introduced Ryan to me. And one of the things that Amanda said to me was, she's like, I read something this guy wrote, and he is such an extraordinary writer, and you've just got to get to know him. And so we connected, and I realized Ryan has forgotten as much about writing as I know. I mean, he knows so much that it is really an education for me every time that we work together. He actually also is the co-writer of the best Christmas pageant ever. So, yeah. Because I'm not willing to do anything without this guy. And so we handed him the keys to the first door of the Chosen house and wanted to make sure that it was in good hands. And so you've been working on this now for what, 2 years at least?
From the time we had that first conversation during season 2, my gosh, it's been probably 4.5. I mean, really just, gestating.
Gestating, and then the actual writing has just been over the last couple of years. But tell us about this show.
Well, thank you. Thank you for that intro, reminding me of the Sadie Hawkins date and everything else. I feel like I mean, it's such an honor, I feel like I'm carrying the torch, that first leg of the torch, and the Chosen universe is bigger than any of us, and I feel like it's always better than any of us, This was a new idea, there's so much joy. Season 4, the words we used to describe it, dread, doom, foreshadowing. But there's so much joy in those stories, and there's so many moments we have in the writing room that we think of things whimsically, or we think of them zany, but really we just wanted to make the show that we wanted to see as kids, that cartoon that we
and
wanted.
adults.
And adults too.
Yeah.
I am a lifelong animated watcher, so I feel like, I will certainly be an audience member for this show. But none of it matters. I mean, none of it matters if we're not connecting with kids with the Word. That's right. And so Jesus is a central character in this show. He, as Jonathan just explained, he is a teacher figure. But these kids are doing relatable kid things. And I just had the best group of collaborators, 2 of whom are on stage with me right now. Our art director, our director, our cast, obviously. And we found in doing this project that we have so many people who are talented people in Hollywood and elsewhere who want to be a part of what we're doing. So it flowed very naturally. And in the show, we will see things. I talked about relatable. Abby, in this clip here, you might have gleaned, she takes the boat out. Shouldn't have taken the boat out. Kids who have to then come back and make right with their parents. We see an episode where Abby goes to church. She finally gets to go to synagogue after all of her begging and pleading, and gosh, I want to be involved so much. And it's boring. She wasn't expecting that. We see an episode where Abby is, parents are busy. Parents are busy, and no one's there to play with Abby. And she finds out over the course of an episode that she's never really alone. So some of these things that we can relate to now, we imagine Abby could relate to 2,000 years ago.
Yeah, and here's what's cool about it. Like he just mentioned, she comes home, has to face her parents and make it right. She goes to synagogue, and it's boring. She experiences struggles and problems. But what we're trying to do, of course, is to say, first, if you're a kid watching this show, yeah, we hear you. We identify with you. We know that sometimes synagogue or church is not always exciting. So what is the lesson in that? What do we want to do when that happens? So the goal of this show is not only to be entertaining and whimsical and fun, but to also teach lessons and to give kids capital T truth. And so yes, we cover some of the Bible stories from the Gospels, obviously, and the kids interact and engage in those stories, but we're also showing them biblical truths, biblical concepts that you as a parent or as a grandparent are going to actually be proud to show to your kids. And maybe in a way that they might not fully understand in our current show, this is going to be even more palatable, more relatable to kids, and we're going to see Jesus through the eyes of the childlike faith that he actually wants us adults to have. And so that's the beauty and the joy of this show. So I cannot wait for you to see it.
Dallas, I do want to say one thing, though. When I look at animation, you look at the longest running animation show, it's The Simpsons. And Bart Simpson's been in the 4th grade for, 36 years now? And I'm like, Jesus deserves to go longer than that, And there's no way Jonathan can last in the live action show, because season 7, he's 6 now.
Yeah. So well, here's the point that he's making, is that because of the animated show, we can do this for a really, really long time.
That's right.
And the children aren't going to age out. Jonathan isn't going to age out. The other characters are going to age out. We can be telling these stories for years and years and years and be contributing to the conversation for the hearts and minds of kids all over the world who right now are being told different things than what the Chosen Adventures is telling them. And so we have to compete. We have to be present, but in a way that they actually want to watch. And so you're going to have a big hand in that. So, do you want to see a scene? Okay. So, a couple of disclaimers, like I always say before I show you a scene. This is still a rough cut. And in fact, in the middle of the scene, we actually skip ahead because some of the stuff that happens in the middle of the scene, we haven't fully finished yet. And so where the scene begins is Abby has been told that she is not allowed to get in the boat because she wants to know what's on the other side of the Sea of Galilee. And she believes that there's going to be these amazing things, and she knows it's great, but her parents are saying, really, it's not that big of a deal, but either way, you can't do this. You can't go to the other side of the sea. And that's what she's wrestling with at the beginning of this scene. And with her are her companions, Sheep and Pigeon. And I hope that you'll pick up on the fact that, yes, they do talk, but she can't understand them. We're not trying to teach kids that, animals can talk to them and that they can. So this is still grounded in some reality. So I wanted to set that up just to give you a little bit of the backstory for what this scene is. Anything else I should say, or you just want to roll it?
Let's roll it.
All right, let's roll the scene.
I can't believe I have to just stay here forever and wonder what is on the other side. And they can't give me one good reason why I can't go see it. Do you think there really are monsters at volcanoes over there? I bet it's both! Plus unicorns.
I keep telling her I need fiber, but it's like she's ignoring me.
Or perhaps she just speaks a different species, friend.
Whoops! My rock fell into that boat.
All right, I see what you did there.
What am I going to do?
I bet it's something morally questionable.
Rope is made of fibers.
That's not the same thing.
Well, how can one word mean two things? Dumb.
Well, I can't grab it from here. Leave it. Daba has said I can't take the boat out.
That's right. Let's go back.
But nothing about just standing in it.
Humans are just amazing at justifying bad behavior.
Whoa. Aha! I rescued my rock.
This tastes like I'm choking.
Guys?
What? Oh, no, Sheep. We're gonna be in so much trouble. Wait, I know what to do. It's okay. I'll be back at the dock any second. See, I'm strong enough to row.
In circles.
And row. And row. And row. And God, please help me. And I trust in you. And I promise I'll tell my parents what I did.
Now that's always a good thing to do.
Are you standing on the water?
Not today.
Oh, thank you, God. We're back!
You really shouldn't be out there by yourself.
So I've been told.
And you didn't believe who told you?
I wanted to be told better reasons why I shouldn't.
Why did you want to go out there?
To see what was on the other side.
And what did you find?
Nothing. Dirt and trees. Just what my Abba said would be there.
And what else?
Nothing. A whole lot of nothing.
What you found on the other side was that you could trust your Abba. You are bright and inquisitive, both very good attributes. And quite strong. Look at those muscles. But your parents' life experience is also strong. They want to keep you safe. And trusting in their rules means believing that they may know something you don't.
Hey, pretty crazy that my boat landed right where you were walking.
What are the chances, huh?
So obviously the part that was missing was when she gets to the other side and experiences some of the storms, but that's a glimpse of one of the middle episodes of season 1 of The Chosen Adventures, and that is coming out next year. And so we are very, very excited to bring that to you, and thank you for your patience in all of this. So let's tell them about what they can actually do right now and how we can actually experience this show even before it comes out.
Yeah, so we're really passionate about this content that we're making, and Ryan and the team has been doing a fantastic job. It's like God's prepared the way for us to do a greater work, to really push things forward. And for us, it's all about creating experiences. There's something about this event. It's about gathering together. Do you feel the energy? It's just amazing, right? Well, one of the goals that we have is always to share and have a way to connect. Like that's why we do in theaters, and that's why we encourage be in groups and be in Bible studies. And what we wanted to do is laterally, while the show's coming out, have opportunities for kids to connect, but not just making a kids thing. It's going to be a parent with kids thing, and also a grandparent with kids thing. But not only do we want to connect, we want them to gather and connect, and then discover. And so the discovering is learning about Jewish culture, learning what Jesus taught, learning these stories that they might not understand, but it's in the way that they can understand. It's a beautiful moment for The Chosen. And one thing that we're really excited about is we actually have a Chosen Adventures kit. So you're gonna see this kit right here. See the kit? Now, what's in this kit is a way to facilitate the best conversations. My mom's watching this. She's in the hospital right now. She wanted to be here. And I want to share a moment that my mom changed my life. She took some time with me and was able to share about Jesus in a way I've never heard before. I was 4 years old, and that was the first time I remember the Holy Spirit touching my heart. And it was because of my mom, but also what she taught. It was a moment to gather and to connect and discover. And so this adventure kit, it's meant and intended for families. And you can see right here, it's like full. There's a lot of stuff going on in it. We have over 10 activities that it's meant to bring it together, to have discussion. It's going to be playful and fun. It's going to be energetic. We also are very hyper aware of grandparents, and sometimes it's awkward with grandparents and grandkids. We want grandparents to be able to connect as well and use this as an opportunity to go deeper. And Yeah, and lastly, this is one of my favorite things, is a moment of playful fun. Imagination. I think the three of us up here, we imagine certain things. And Dallas in his childhood was imagining directing films and, with his little action figures. But imagination is what fuels children. And when it's imagination fueled around the gospel of Jesus Christ, the truth that he taught over 2,000 years ago, that's relevant for today, it's a beautiful moment. And so we're actually launching this today. It's going to be available outside. You also can get it with this QR code at thechosengifts.com. I think there's a song for that or something. Should we have him sing it real quick?
Come on, the girl blush. So this is where you can get, one of the places where you can get the Chosen Adventure Kit is www.thechosengifts.com. Oh, thank you. In that adventure kit and in future potential adventure kits and boxes, it's not just fun. It's also opportunities to learn more about Jewish history, to learn more about the Bible, to learn more about these stories. So obviously the fun and the enjoyment of the show leads to Bible truths. The fun and the enjoyment of the adventure kits allows you as parents or as grandparents to engage your kids further with Scripture, and I promise you the Bible is going to come to life even more with your children because of these things. And again, that is the end game. These shows are not the end game. The Bible is not a supplement to these shows. These shows are a supplement to the Bible. And so are the adventure kits. So make sure that you